Hi beautiful people. So I promised you last week that I was going to tell you why we used to go outside in the morning for morning devotion rather than doing it inside the house. 2 years ago, I remember talking about how I got a job offer but I couldn't go for the job because something was wrong and my child needed me. Well, he wasn't writing in school. He stopped writing in school. He just decided not to write anymore. A few days before I got that particular job offer, my child's proprietress called me and she sat me down. She told me that there were things in the child's life that needed to be corrected before the child turns 7 or before the child leaves 7, because this age is a very crucial age in a child's life. And my child was already 7 at the time. The school had been trying their best to see what they could do to help Newton do better. During exam then, when he refuses to write, he will tell other people the answer. In the exam hall, he will tell his friends that you're not writing well, this one is not correct, but he will never write his own. So it became a thing of, pain, because I put in a lot of effort to making sure that he gets to school every day. I try as much as possible to help him when he gets home. But my mother was of the opinion that I was like that too while I was growing up, and she didn't even realize it until I was in secondary school. Back then, before my exams, by the time I bring out my notes, they will all be incomplete. My mother will sit down and copy notes for me. So when these things started happening to Newton, she told me that I should go and copy notes for him, that she used to copy notes for me. The owner of Newton's school is the best. She has passion for the kids. She has passion for her job. So she already knew that Newton was having ADHD, and she sat me down to explain it to me and to tell me about it. Tracing it back to myself, I realized that I had the same thing while growing up. When Newton's dad was informed about the situation, he confirmed that he had that stage of his life too, when he realized that he wasn't copying notes and all that. So it was not something that we were about to kill our child over. It was just something that we needed to follow through with the school's instruction, and then do our best to try to make sure that he was okay. I brought notes home to copy for him. We did all of this for a while, and then the school said, stop, don't copy for him anymore, this is not going to help him, because during the exam I'll be so scared, what will he read? Even though I knew that even during the exam he might decide that he didn't even want to write, but I would still want to make sure that he had something to study for the exam. These things kept us very worried. In our own time, nobody diagnosed us of ADHD, so the dad said he didn't even know what that was until Newton school told us about it, and by the time we checked ourselves for more, it full our body remained. We're not going to crucify our child for something that he obviously inherited from us, so we just needed to put ourselves together and try to see how we could help him. Not taking that job offer 2 years ago was a decision that was difficult, but I think it was one of the best decisions that I made. Our journey with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder was a roller coaster of emotional stress, mental stress. I'm willing to share my experiences just in case there are other parents out there who are struggling with kids that have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder as well. Please kindly help me reach out to them by sharing this post. Thank you. Hi beautiful people, these are uziza seeds, fresh uziza seeds, and the one inside the bulb like shells, they are orioma. Orioma is used to cook pepper soup, used to cook banga soup, and it can also be used to extract measles from the body of a child. While working on these seeds and trying to get them prepared to sun them and make sure that they turn out well and they don't go bad, I would like us to continue discussing about the effect of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in children. We started talking about this yesterday, and I would like us to continue right now. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder can be noticed in a child as from 3 years to 6 years old. Usually that's when some children start going to school, and that's when they are expected to sit still and learn. That's also the age that they start trying to do little taxes here and there, and that's the point where you realize that some of them cannot sit still. Usually one of the best way to know children who are being affected by ADHD is when they are amongst their peers, when you see them among other children. If you are very observant, that's when you begin to realize that something is wrong with this particular child who finds it difficult to stay still. Children with ADHD have difficulties in sitting down in one place. In my own case, my child never used to sit still, but I didn't know that anything was wrong with him because I was told it's a normal boy child's behavior. He's a boy, that's how they used to do. They don't like sitting in one place. But my own was different. When he would sit with his mates or sit around his peers, I realized that those ones, if you hold cane and you say sit down, those ones will sit down. They will sit still at least for a while before they start, turning around again. But my own, in that one chair that you will put him, he will sit with his nail. He will stand up and sit with his bum. Before you know, he will stand up and put his 2 hands on the chair. Sitting still for 1 minute or 2 was a very serious problem for my child. He would turn around that chair and turn around the chair to the extent that you get so irritated and you will just want to flog the hell out of him. But I didn't really think much of it, I would not lie, because I heard that is a boy child behavior, that's how restless they are. But this thing started actually disturbing me when we had a visitor at a time that was living with us. They came all the way from the north to stay with us, and during morning devotion, the boy who is of Newton's age would come out with his parents, and we'll all come out to the sitting room, and everybody will be sitting on their chairs. And I realized that child can sit. He will sit still, but my own can never sit down in one place. On top of that chair where he has been told to sit, that is how he will get up. He will kneel on the chair. He will stand with his head. He will put his head on the chair, put his leg on the other side. He will do all sorts of acrobatics on that chair. All the while that he's doing all that, the other boy is still sitting down still. At least as long as his parents are in the parlor, you will never see that one misbehaving. Another thing with the other kid was, once his parents get up from their chair, he becomes worse than Newton. In fact, I'll be scared for Newton around him. So my mom was of the opinion that it's deeper life blood, that's how they used to do. They used to train their children with so much fear. So when the children are around them, they will become very cold. But as soon as the parents leave them or they are on their own, they will become wild. I did not like their pattern of raising their child either, because I wanted to be able to know the child that I'm living with. So when my mom sat them down and spoke to them about how much fear they were instilling in the boy, how cold he was around them, and how wild he gets when they are not around, they understood and they started to do better, and they discovered a lot of things. But you see, their visit opened my eyes, because at least that boy was scared of his parents enough to behave himself in front of them, but mine was never scared. I didn't know that it was because my child was suffering from attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and irrespective of the consequences of his actions, he was incapable of thinking properly before acting.